Hello, everybody. Welcome to It's a Crime. I'm Linda, for those of you who don't know me. And today we are going to be talking about the pretrial conference that just happened this morning at 10:30 between Lori Vallow and the attorneys and Judge Mallard. So a few people are going to be a little bit choked. People are reminding, press the like button below before we get started. We're going to wait for a couple more people to come in, but we will keep going in the meantime. So thank you so much for joining me on this Friday. I can hear somebody outside with their engine running. That's the big muffler guy, I think. So I'm going to run through what happened in this in court today. So Lori showed up and I'm just a little choked right now. I think everybody is. So they came in and they were talking about right away. They just said, hey, we dismissed the other felony counts. We knew that. And then they were looking at these 3 misdemeanors, which is obstruction, solicitation, and contempt. And then they were talking about setting a jury trial. And sorry, that was my email. Setting a jury trial, and they were talking about how many days they needed. Rob Wood agreed. And side note, I saw Lori do one of these and look up a couple times, just trying to screenshot some of it because, I look for little reactions, right? They're talking about getting the discovery in the next few days. Mr. Means talked about it. He talked about how large it was. He said it's very large and the amount of data. And then they were talking about the next 6 months to set it. They set it for January the 25th to the 29th for the jury trial at 9 a.m. in Madison County. So that's a little ways away. Lori might as well get her nail file out and be like, yeah, it's January. We only have a week left anyway. Then they were talking about the bond reduction, but the judge says, I wasn't prepared to talk about this today. Let's take a little bit of a break and let me read this stuff and what happened before, blah, 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 and then come in and we'll talk about it. Welcome to my new Crime Ring member, Robin. Welcome aboard. If you see that little green, that just means that people are joining my membership. And okay, so they took a little break and then they came back and they were talking about the bond reduction. And Mr. Means was talking about, this usually would get 2 years or $2,500 fine. And that Lori is a model inmate, not violent, not violent, basically just saying she's a model inmate. I actually saw Rob Woods look up. I wasn't sure if he saw somebody or he's actually like, dear God. And they said that her access to funds are limited and they wanted a reduction to $100,000. Now, Rob acknowledged the misdemeanors and he pointed out about these charges. He said, okay, hang on. I'm reading as I go and it looks like chicken scratch. So hang on. Yeah, so he was pointing out look, while she was concealing or not saying anything, basically saying that the defendants or the kids were already deceased at this point. And I loved it because he made such good points and he wanted to reiterate, like, listen, yeah, these are misdemeanors, but let's talk about the aggravating factors for it. And he says, while these jail phone calls were happening, the children were dead. He said, while she was hiding the locations and couldn't produce them, she was hiding the locations of them because they were dead. And he said she lied about the location to Melanie Gibb, or wanted her to lie about the location of Melanie Gibb because her children were dead. And then she said, again, she tried to conceal the whereabouts of her children because her children were dead. So he kept saying that, and I thought, you go, Rob, because that's important, right? He said this is very troubling, and he said it also speaks to the defendant's character. And he asked that the bond be no lower than $250,000. Now, Mr. Means then right away steps in and says, listen, she's innocent until proven otherwise. He right away was talking about Mr. Wood being speculating, and he says jumping from point to point. And you can see Rob go like, Then the judge starts talking, and she talks about 2 points, one being the misdemeanors with 2-year penalty. And she also talk about the other pending case, which was the conspiracy case. And that's a $1 million bond. So she's taking these things into consideration and chatting about that. I'll look at your guys's comments here. Interesting there. She says, the judge says, regardless of what I do here, there's still the case on a $1 million bond. She says, okay, well, Lori was in custody since February 2020, which is about 5 months. She said, if convicted, she would get credit for her time served. And then she talked about the factors considered, ensuring public safety and the witnesses. She cannot overlook the nature of the charge, but also the aggravating factors. And she says, she was talking about innocent until proven guilty. She says, but she threw in a but in there. And then she was talking about the likelihood of conviction, keeping these factors in mind. And then she reduced it to $50,000 for each count for a total of $150,000. She added another condition because the conditions before were wearing a monitor 24/7. You have to let them know where you're living, no contact with witnesses or family members. That included eye contact, email contact, any kind of electronic contact, physical contact. It named a whole bunch, and I think there was 9 or 10. But she added one saying no contact whatsoever with the alleged co-conspirators, and she said that as plural. So, yeah. So it's just, it's funny. While I'm watching it, and they were talking about lowering bond, I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. And I'm talking to myself and to the computer, right? Like, I'm sure you guys are too. I was like, just please don't. And it reminded me of the judge in January in Hawaii. You weren't getting anything past this woman. The judge was like, yeah, no, not lowering it. No. So I'm actually surprised a little bit that she did do that today, but Pauline says, I'm watching you backwards from day one of this case to the present. You were good, but now you're even. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I should probably go back. I have been doing a little bit of going back to some of my videos because it's very interesting to see now that we know more about it, going back and seeing, what that looks like. Thank you, Rosanna. So, yeah, my stomach is totally growling. You can probably hear me. Okay. Kelly, you asked a really good question because I looked today going, she having extensions in her hair? I know she already did, but I mean, this is a side note. I just found it. Where did she get that? Maybe they're just from before. Now, a lot of you guys are asking, why isn't there murder charges? And I think that they're possibly coming. I'm hoping they're coming. But if you were the FBI and the detectives and the authorities, and you're looking at this, you want to cross every single T and dot every single I, right? So they're gathering, and I'm hoping, different kind of gathering. I just caught that. They're gathering the evidence, and then I'm hoping they're going to nail her. I have said this in my previous videos in the last week or so with my coded email video that I did. I 100% think and believe now that email was in code and it was to kill Charles. It wasn't just an email to try and get Chad to come out to Arizona. I think that was a plan to get rid of Charles. 100% stand by that. And now more than ever, I believe that. See, I don't think she's going to commit suicide. I really don't. I don't think her or Chad would do that. I think they have bigger bananas to fry. Recap, if you are just joining me, Lori was in court this morning. And bottom line is she got her bond reduced to $150,000, which was $50,000 per charge. And I was chatting to the computer saying, no, don't do it, to the judge. What I really appreciated was Rob Wood really diving in and honing in on the fact that, wait a minute, yeah, there's these charges, and they're misdemeanors, but you are asking Melanie Gibb to lie about the location of your dead children or your dead child, because it was Lori asking Melanie Gibb to lie about the whereabouts of JJ. He also said when she was on these jail calls, her children were still, they were dead. And he kept bringing that home and saying, let me see what else I had. Yeah, you couldn't produce the children because they were dead. You knew the location, but they were already dead. And so he just kept hammering in that point. And Mr. Means comes out and is like, wait a minute, she's innocent until proven otherwise. This is speculation. And, you're jumping from point to point. You can see Rob just do one of these I did some screenshots, so hopefully I can, I missed one of them though, because she was rolling her, how she rolls her eyes. Like in the beginning, I saw her look up a couple times. I don't know what it's about. Maybe she had something in her eye. Did see the box of tissues on that table. Basically, so they did get it reduced to $50,000 a piece. When Mr. Means first started talking, he was saying, look, something like this is, 2 years or $2,500 fine. He said he was asking for no higher than $100,000. And that Lori is a model inmate and she's not violent. And then they talked about the jury trial, which is happening on January 25th to 29th. So that's January 2021. And yeah, they added with the bond reduction, which is now at $150,000. The judge did point out, like, there's still another case going on with a bond of $1 million. And she added an additional condition if she's released on bond, saying that there's no contact whatsoever with alleged co-conspirators, plural. And yeah, so that's the recap. We are hoping that the murder charges are coming because, well, it has to, frankly. And I am actually diving into the Charles Vallow case, which is very important. Yes, he's been gone for 1 year, but there is so many things wrong with what happened on July 11th. And that email that I believe is in code to kill Charles, what that means is not only was Alex involved, not only was Lori involved, but Chad was involved too. So if we can somehow prove that and dive in, well, especially before Wednesday, because you know what's going to happen that day, then maybe she can get some other charges slapped on her. Because I don't know. I mean, I don't even understand at this point, but I have hope and I have faith that the authorities are just gathering every bit of information they can and making sure it's solid and tight and then slapping her with it. Now, in Charles's case, there is a new detective on his case. So hopefully we'll hear more information. Yeah, good point. She was there when Charles was shot. How could she leave the scene? Exactly. There's so many things wrong, and I'm diving into it and doing it in a video. There's also a video that I'm bringing out, and I'm going to spend the day today doing it. It's either going to come out today or tomorrow. And this is starting to expose more of them. So stay tuned for that video because I've been diving and I'm like, oh my gosh, I think this is it. Even the responding officer said that he found it interesting that Alex claimed he was attacked, yet had the opportunity to go to his room where he could have chosen to barricade himself and didn't. Well, yeah, and Charles's lawyer, Taylor Larson, was talking about that. He's like, wait a minute, you're claiming self-defense, but you said you went to your room and went and grabbed the gun and then came back out. How is that self-defense? He's saying. So he made some excellent points. And not only that, but there's some discrepancies on the body cam and what people are saying. There's some discrepancies. So I want to expose that because I just feel like if we can go and tackle that and look at that, we're going to see what else is going on and also get her slapped with some other charges because this is ridiculous. And how she can just and walk away in every situation is mind-boggling. Cheryl says, I meant to say it shouldn't matter to her. Okay, I missed what you first said. Yeah, okay, so Jennifer makes a really good point, and this is what I saw. Okay, in 3 different parts, and I'll put this in a video, so no worries, so you guys can understand the full scope of this. You have the body cam, and on body cam, one of them says 1, 2, 3, 4, counts 4 shots. He even says it on the body cam. And another officer says he shot the F out of him. Okay, I don't know about you, but shooting the F out of somebody is not twice. And they're saying that he was only shot twice. So there's discrepancies. I would like to have the full report so that I could dig into that. But there's a few different indicators, especially on the body cam. They also said he was shot many times. So I don't know about you, but 2 times isn't many, right? It would be more than 2, in my opinion. What do you guys think? If he says many times, would that be 2? Or would that be more than 2? You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Debbie. Well, yes, Rosanna says, why aren't Chad's children zombies? Because that doesn't fit his narrative. That doesn't fit his plan. They're safe. Everybody else around him's not, because he's manipulative and he manipulates to where he wants and what it needs to be. Yeah, Vicky. I thought the same thing. She says, I think Rob Wood didn't argue about bond because he knows murder charges are imminent, in my opinion. I thought about that because the judge says, do you have anything to say? And you could see Rob Wood go, no, thank you, Your Honor, And I thought, I wonder if he has something knowing that things are coming down the pipe. It's like, don't worry about this lowering. Don't worry about this other stuff because more stuff's coming. So make sure your extensions are looking nice because you're going to be spending some more time in court and more time in jail. It is very, very sad. It's so sad. Lisa says it's so sad she still doesn't care about the children or Charles' lives being snuffed out. Yeah, I think she just cares about Chad. What about Tammy? Anything? Nothing yet. Ashley also makes a good point. I don't understand how they got away with so much. The kids would be alive if they took Charles seriously. And they didn't, right? In January, he's like, look what happened. I've seen how many times I'm trying to get her help. You see him trying to get her help. And then all this goes down. But I'm going to keep going on Charles. I think it's important. Some people are like, why are you diving into that? No, it's important because if we can go back to there, then maybe Lori will get hit up with that and Chad, because I believe Chad was part of it as well in that email. I would love to know if he responded to that email. Exactly. It's not self-defense if he went and grabbed the gun. And he even said that. Mangley says, it looked to me like Lori was trying to stare down Rob Wood because she probably thought he looks like, remember we were talking about he looks similar to Charles, and I secretly hope that she sees Rob Wood and it's like, thinks of Charles. Thank you so much for the super chat. Elizabeth, I see you there, your comment. Let me just find your comment. There you are. 2 is a couple, 3 is a few, 4 and over is more, right? Many times, he said. Yeah, and then the other person, like, he shot the F out of him. Okay, that's not 2. And yet now we see 2. So what is it? Is it 2? Is it 4? Is it many? What is it? And why is there so many conflicting reports on that? And if it's self-defense, why did he go and go get his gun and not just walk outside. You're walking past, the door's right there, but you're going past to the bedroom to go get the gun and get it. Oh, that's right, because there was a hit list and he was on the list, in my opinion. Yeah, how did they get away with killing Tammy and Alex? Well, they get away with everything, apparently. Yeah, Marilyn says Rob Wood looks like Charles Vallow. I did something in my community tab going, like I did a side by side, and he does kind of look like him. He's reminiscent of them. Do you think July 22 is going to affect Lori when she's still sitting in her jail cell and not raptured out? Maybe the portal will work that day and she can disappear. I don't know. I don't think she's going to kill herself. To me, I really don't feel like those two are. I think they have a greater mission, and I don't think it's that. Robin's last time she tried to bond out, there was not one bondsman that would take her. That is correct. And in my email, my code video, I was talking about how she said something about audience, and I compared it to the police being the audience, meaning they're going to tell the story to the audience being the police officers, and they're going to believe them. And that's exactly what happened. She orchestrated this whole thing at her house, and then they told the cops the whole self-defense story. Alex didn't even perform CPR. He said he was, but he did not, in my opinion. And I mean, why would you resuscitate a zombie in Alex's eyes anyways? The whole thing stinks. And I don't even know. Maybe it was just so hot that day that the officers, had heat stroke or something. I don't know. Maybe they knew her. I don't know. Kathy says, I bet she is surprised on the 22nd. Can't wait for that. Exactly. Narcissistic sociopaths don't commit suicide. They love themselves too much. Maybe they were getting direction from Jason Mao. Yeah, I'm looking into Jason. I have a couple of members or couple of viewers helping me out. Yes, you only need 10% of the bond of 150,000. Miss Cat says, I'm new here, happy that I found you. Well, welcome aboard. I'm happy you found me too, and happy to have you part of the community. June says, if Charles was attacking Alex, he would have followed him to the bedroom, not waited in the, like what, right, June, you make a great point, right? It's like, oh, okay, oh, where you go? Oh, okay, yeah, you're going to get your gun. Let me just wait out here then, okay. Michelle says, it's so convenient that everyone in Chad and Lori's way becomes a zombie. Yes. And you could see that in his chart, right? In Chad's little listicle. He talks about, like you can see all the people that Lori's bothered by. It's like, well, first Charles was light, then he turned into Nick Schneider, or as Melanie Gibbs says, Ned Schneider. And, he's causing problems. And then Oh, Colby's wife too? Oh yeah, rated dark. Yeah, let me guess. You have a little bit of issues with her too? Must be. Okay, who else is bothering you? Oh yeah, that one. Okay, yeah. Remember I said this yesterday in the video, if you didn't check it out. It's a quick video. I think it was 7 minutes long, and I was talking about how she was having court today. But I think Lori was more itching to get out because on like lowering these bonds, because she's like, I am on the clock. I have less than a week to get stuff done. I have my little listicle from Chad, and we have to still do things to carry out and lead the 144,000. Yeah, she'll have to have protection if she makes bond or someone will get her. What she did to those poor children, and she smirks in the courtroom, I'd slap the smirk right off her face. I am so with you on that. It just bothers me to no end about this. Oh, Lydia says, how does a 7-year-old turn dark? Here's how they do it. Chad's like, this kid's gonna be in the way. So I know I rated him light before, Lori, and he rarely would turn dark, but let's just say he's a zombie. And my dead grandmother-in-law, so my Tammy's dead grandma, Lucille, has spoken to me through Beyond the Veil and has said, because Lucille always says things and lets me know, especially every September 23rd, because it's her birthday, that she told me that JJ is dark and now he's a zombie. And you know what we have to do with zombies, Lori? You know what we have to do. Oh, yeah, you know what? Melanie Gibbs coming this weekend. Melanie, look at JJ. He's turning into a zombie. See, he's sitting in front of television watching it nicely. No, Lori, that's called a darn miracle, not a zombie for children at that age to sit the whole time and watch them. It just is like, come on. And that's how he turned dark, in my opinion. Who is Jason Mao? He is a retired police officer from Arizona. He's also part of all this. He's done a podcast with Lori and Melanie Gibb, and it's called Time to Warrior Up that he was in it. And he actually teaches children of all ages, I believe. He has his own little company going on. And there's some sketch stuff about him too. So hopefully I can get that all coordinated and put that in a video as well. I get a little bit heated about these. Let me just backtrack here because there's comments and I don't want to miss it. Terry says, I can't wait for her real D-Day. Tick-tock, Lori. Yeah, tick-tick, Lori. Exactly. It's coming. I hope she gets slapped with these murder charges. Algo one says, waiting for Alex is like Letitia and Guardo. If by mission you mean sitting in jail for the rest of their lives to pay, agreed. Letitia and Eduardo. Yeah. Well said. Priscilla says, Linda, did you see the video Tyson Draper posted out of Chad's house? Is that, was that with Garth, you mean? Is that the one you're talking about? I hope the day that they come with a bunch of charges, they're doing one of these and this and this and this and this. Jody says, I am still creeped out that Chad's kids moved into that house where those kids were buried. Yeah, they moved. One kid moved out and then the daughter, Emma, moved in. within that next day, I guess, I think it was. Who is the mastermind, Chad or Lori? Such a good question. In my opinion, see, I think both of them feed off each other big time. It's kind of like, when you're having a conversation, you agree with something like, oh yeah, and oh yeah, and it's, I feel like it's something like that. However, I think Chad has these people listening to him, reading his books, and him coming up with these emails and the family history with the ratings and everything. And Lori fed into it, because don't forget, Lori meets Chad in person and he tells her how they've been married 5 times before in different lives, and she eats it up. And so I think he's like, okay, test the water. Yeah, got her. And then he can just go fishing, like, cast and just reel her in. And I think she was just as much a mastermind as Chad in different aspects of it. But I think once they were together, it was just like, I don't know, Melanie Gibbs' word, Velcro. Like they stuck to each other and fed off each other, I think. Cheryl says, when I saw her smirking, I wanted to load up the car and make a road trip. Come pick me up along the way. I can't handle that smirk. And I think it was worse, actually, that I saw her fake wipe a tear from one of her eyes. Obviously, Mark Means is like, oh, you remember how you reached for a Kleenex last time, and you only dabbed one eye? That's a no-go. People were very angry at that too. So just can you just, instead of smirking, instead of crying or fake crying, can you just, let's keep it neutral, right? Keep it neutral right to here. What's that movie with Will Smith? Here's neutral. I just so fed up of her. Kara, this case would be so different if the children went missing during the pandemic. There's no telling how long they would have gotten away with it. I think it would have went on longer had Kay Woodcock not called for a welfare check. Her and Larry were trying to talk to JJ over and over and over again. And they last talked to him on August 10th on FaceTime. I believe it's August 10th. And then they just kept saying, there was emails coming in, look, Lori, let's just stop playing games. Can I talk to JJ? Can I see JJ? I can come, he can come here, whatever. And then, of course, she tells Melanie Gibb that, yeah, JJ ends up going with Kay because I have cancer, she says to Melanie, and makes up this stupid thing. So in a lot of ways, you're right. If it happened during this pandemic, but I think that it could have gone on a lot longer had Kay not asked for that welfare check. And we certainly know Melanie Pulowski didn't do anything. And she keeps saying that she doesn't, I didn't know where the children are. I didn't know. Okay, but you had to have been suspicious. Oh, wait, you went to Hawaii in October with Lori. I'd like to know the dates of that still. Welcome to the new Crime Ring member. And welcome to everybody who's just joined me. We've been chatting about the courtroom this morning. Kresha's in the house. Kresha, it's so nice to see you. I'm trying to find your comment here. And for those of you who don't know, Kresha's related to Charles and Kay. I wish we could see her smirk and all her colorful facial expressions because it shows her true colors. 100% agree with you. Thank you so much. And thank you for being in here. I wonder what your thoughts are on this morning. I was literally talking to the computer while it was going on. And when they were talking about bond rates, like, don't do it, don't do it, don't. And everybody in here is a little miffed about the reduction in bond, but I'm hoping we're going to get some other answers. And you know that I want answers for Charles and everybody, basically. And I want her slapped with a couple more charges. And hopefully those are coming. I really want that to come. And I did find some information. I am recording a video today. I spent last night and yesterday diving in more about Chad and Lori. And I'm going to bring something to your guys' attention. I'm hoping that it's going to be eye-opening for you. It's eye-opening for me. And I'm going to put those pieces together. So look for that either tomorrow or today. That'll have that out. If it takes me a little bit longer to dig today, then you'll have it tomorrow. Hope she sits in jail. Yes, I agree. Had it not been for Kay to phone in that welfare check, it may have been a lot longer for those kids. And also with all the little shenanigans that Lori pulled on that day and the next day, and Chad pretending that he didn't know Lori very well, didn't know her phone number, and then was going to try and flee, even though his lawyer says Chad doesn't flee, but he totally has a pattern of fleeing. That's what it's called, hitch. Hitch. Yeah. He's like, keep it here. Yes. Billy says, was JJ already dead when she told Melanie that? Yes. And JJ died in September, as did Tylee. November was the welfare check. November was when Lori was asking Melanie Gibb to lie about the whereabouts of JJ. And she already knew where JJ was and where Tylee was. And that's what Rob Wood said in court this morning. He hammered that home. Listen, the children were already deceased when you did this, when you did this, when you did this. And when he also talked about the jail calls, when she was on jail calls, the children had already died. And also, as a whole reason why she couldn't produce the children, because she couldn't produce the children. And so, it's so frustrating, you know? It's so frustrating. Just join so I can say I have issues with Lori's smug face. We all do. Thank you for joining us and saying that. We all do. I did notice in the beginning this morning in the court, she put her eyes up like this a couple times. Like, either that's an eye roll because I'm certain it's not tears. Yep, I agree. If you look at the documents from her divorces, she has never been a normal, lovely, selfless mother. I agree. I've seen a lot of the documents. I've seen a lot of manipulations. I think manipulations is her first name. And I always say lie, lie, manipulate, lie. I think that's what Lori does. I think everybody knows it. Even Charles even said that in one of his emails. He said, whenever she does this, This is what she does. And so it's like, well, it's not the first time. There we go. Deanna says there are more charges to come. You can't steal money from the government and walk away. She was stealing and using Tylee's bank card and collecting money from the state for JJ. Yes, she was. And the total amount from Nate Eaton of East Idaho News, Nate, if you're watching, we love you. He said it was $6,000 a month she was getting in total from everything was $6,000 a month. Okay, now my little comments jumped. Sorry about that. They just jumped. And I wanted to say something too, because yesterday I was talking about the document. I don't think I have it written down. From Mark Means and the assertive defenses. And I was reading that out, and Scott Reich from Crime Talk was talking about that. It was like saying, okay, yes, I did this, but, and then explained all the reasons. And Scott went and said, like, this is interesting what he's put in here. So if you look on my last video that I did yesterday, you can see I have a link to Scott's channel, and you can see right in the beginning, he talks about Lori Vallow Daybell, and he talks about all these things. Did she have her red lipstick on today? No, she had a mask on and didn't say anything. My countdown is to 7:20, 3:20. Cannot wait to see their faces in August at court. Not an eye roll. She's looking to see if Jesus is coming for her. I don't think that's where she's going. Yeah, I saw that too. Worst part is that Lori didn't even flinch when Woods mentioned her dead children. He mentioned this over and over. I'm glad he hammered that in. I'm so glad. And then Mark Means is like, well, this is speculation, he says. Remember, innocent until proven otherwise. This is speculation, jumping from point to point. And you could see Rob Wood just be like, mm-hmm. When is Mr. Potato Head's trial? That would be August 3rd and 4th, and August 10th and 11th. Lori, and August 3rd and 4th for Chad. Debbie says, what did I miss? We were talking about basically the court hearing this morning, the pretrial conference with Lori and Mark Means, Rob Wood, Judge Mallard, and she had her bond reduced to $150,000, $50,000 for each charge. And but she still has the other $1 million bond as well. But these are the misdemeanors, and she also had an additional condition of no contact whatsoever with alleged co-conspirators. And that's pretty much it. They set the jury trial for January 25th to the 29th. Jillian Book Chatter says, found you because of this case. I live in Idaho and have been following it for so long. You do such a great job. Thank you so much. Thank you, and glad to have you aboard. We're trying to find the truth. 100,000 on the way. Yeah, very close. Yes, January 25th to 29th. Yeah. These people will only move back the doomsday date if it doesn't happen on July 23rd. July 22nd is the day, but yeah. And Melanie Gibb thought it was August, but she said according to Lori's research, it was July the 22nd. Robin, I'll just leave it up there. No, it won't. No, it won't. We have the Wednesday deadline. It'll be before then. Has to be before then. Yes, we are going to have a live show on July 22nd. Let me know what you want us to do in that. I think I might do it at 11 p.m. at night, Mountain Standard Time, so that we can do a countdown to how it's not going to end. And hopefully that day we'll even have better news that July 22nd she has more charges. This is me just hoping and wishing. I don't know anything, but I'd like one of these. And Chad too, and anybody else who's involved. New member from overseas, isn't Lori's mom going to be held accountable for obstruction of justice? Not sure if it has been discussed already. I haven't looked into too much about Lori's mom, Janice. I know that she did that interview with Summer Shiflett, and all I know is after that, the FBI went to her house. But you make a really good point. She was saying that she talked to JJ on the phone on October 1st, right? Surprise, Lori, we're still here. Ramona, she said that Lori couldn't contact, she says no contact whatsoever with alleged co-conspirators, plural. They are posting, not sure. You're not blocked. Yeah, where did I see that? Yeah, before we get the family members, one thing at a time. That's why I'm hoping that we can look into Charles and dig. I'm finding some stuff with Charles. There's a few other people that are finding that as well. And I think that needs to be exposed. And I think there's more to this that I really, I've spent 3 days decoding something, and hopefully I can show you. You guys can let me know your thoughts. Jacinta says, I'll let you know if the world ends on July 22nd, as I'll experience it first down here in Australia. If I can, I'll join the live stream, but I may be elsewhere with 144,000. No, this is Idaho time. It's Mountain Standard Time. It's the same time. Same time. Lisa says Summer inserted herself into the conspiracy to murder Charles by saying she sent Alex to Lori's. There is so much around that. They end up having that pool party, and people were saying that Summer was there at the pool party. She ends up telling Colby that Charles died of a heart attack. Then he finds out he was shot. She lies to JJ's school, says it was suicide. I mean, I don't even know if she knows how to tell the truth, really. I don't even know if she even knows what the truth is. Matt Bond says, 22nd Australia US time, I have a house inspection. US, Idaho, Mountain Standard Time. Maybe do the house inspection on the 21st. Or maybe not, because it costs, I don't know what it does for you guys there, but in Canada, it costs for a house inspection. So maybe do it a day later, just in case you don't have to pay the extra $500 for the house inspection. Gail says, what I don't understand is Lori had a good life with Charles, Chad had a good life with Tammy, Melanie had a good life with Brandon, and I don't know about Melanie Gibb, but she got a divorce. Yeah, common denominator. Basically, Lori wanted someone like a spiritual leader, from Melanie Gibbs saying. And even though Charles converted to LDS, Lori didn't see him, is what Melanie Gibbs says. Lori didn't see him as that. And she was enamored with Chad's books. And apparently she had a near-death experience when she was in Hawaii, and then started like binging on books and podcasts and whatnot. I don't know what the near-death experience was. If you do know, let me know in comments below or in this live chat here, because I would like to know if you guys know what that near-death experience was. And then she just started diving in, and in walks Chad, in walks Lori. Tammy's no longer needed or wanted in Chad's eyes, and neither is Charles, unfortunately. And so Melanie Pulowski, I believe, looks up, and we know she looks up. She says she looks up to Lori. I think she's like a little mini me, in my opinion. And she sees some things, and then she asks Brandon for a divorce. And Brandon says, like, he's sideswiped about all this. He doesn't even understand what's going on. And they get a divorce. And then Melanie Gibb, from my understanding, she was married for quite some time and has children, and then she got a divorce. I don't believe it's related, though, to this timing. I think it was the year before. Oh, look at this. My parents were in a cult in 90s till they told my dad to do away with me and my sister because we were bad. Oh, like dark, right? Yes. Where did I just see that? They said no children would be in the 144,000, only married couples, 12 by 1,200 of the tribes of Israel, not the tribes of Rexburg. Right. And they believe that Rexburg was the place. And there was some comment, I think, from Melanie Gibb again saying, there's that guy with the muffler, that Melanie Gibb said that Chad and Lori said, oh, we won't be camping. We don't like to camp. Oh, like you have a choice. Thank you, Elizabeth. Bunker slumber party on the 22nd in our onesies. And don't forget the Kool-Aid lipstick, you guys. Don't forget. And your smirks. I don't know if there's a specific time on the 22nd. I'm sure we'll wait for Chad to talk about that when he gets it from his portal potty, and then we'll figure that out. Question, just curious, would we want the death penalty for Chad and Lori? Discuss among you. Let's see what you guys think. No death penalty. They need to stay alive and rot. Yes, yes, yes. Lots of yeses. Life in prison, no parole. No, I want to live long lives knowing that they didn't go to heaven. Life in prison, no parole. Why pay for them in prison? No, it would not serve and good, but life in prison would hurt them much more. Stay alive and suffer, suffering jail life. Nope, I want them to live out the rest of their lives absolutely miserable in prison and having to think about those poor kids every day. Vicky says, I live in Idaho and I don't want to pay for them. Yeah, so there's quite a few. I'd say half and half so far. Maybe a little bit more no. Immediately death penalty, no, without appeal. I don't want to pay for them. Jessica says, I'm just joined. What happened? We did a recap from this morning at 10:30 a.m. There was a hearing, a pretrial hearing with Lori, and her bond actually was reduced to $50,000 per charge. She has 3 misdemeanor charges, and they are $50,000 piece for $150,000. And they basically set also the jury trial for January 25th to the 29th. Rob Wood was hammering home the idea that, yeah, these may be misdemeanors and these usually carry a lower charge. However, she knew that the kids were already dead when she did this, and her own children were dead when she did this. And Mark Means was like, whoa, she's innocent until proven guilty, and you're speculating. And basically is what he said. Jumping from point to point is what he said. And then basically the judge finishes and says bond is reduced. And she said there's an additional condition to already a bunch of conditions if she does bond out. And she is to have no contact whatsoever with alleged co-conspirators, plural. I saw somebody saying that they live in, oh, here. Becky says, I worked in 3 different prisons. Believe me, they will suffer because they killed children, unless they're protected. Right? Renee says, I can't justify paying for monsters to live and eat when kids are going hungry in this country every day. and their children are dead. They won't last in prison anyway. Kresha, you asked a really good question. There's many views. They believe the world ends on the 22nd, right? So why not let nature run its course? That is next Wednesday, right? So why not let them do what they're going to do when the world ends? I want to piggyback on this idea because you just remind me. Oh my gosh. Okay, I was getting a phone call and it picked up on my MacBook. Hello. It piggybacked on this. She thinks she's a god and who doesn't need to apparently eat. So show us. You don't need to eat because you're a god, so guess you're not needing to have breakfast or lunch or dinners or anything in jail. So no, you're a god. That's what you claim. You don't need to eat. Okay, no problem. Show us. I think they need to get out because they have a laundry list of things to do, and I want to know what the others are doing, whatever others there are, what they're doing for Lori and Chad right now. Because they're on the countdown, and they have followers because remember, Lori's quite the gatherer. She's quite the recruiter. Autumn says they should spend the rest of their lives in solitary confinement. No television, no books, no visitors, no showers, and no health care. How are them apples? Thank you, Marianne. This is the best of both worlds right here. Not the death penalty, but solitary confinement, no television, no books, no religious books. And the reason why I say that is obviously they're claiming to be originally LDS, but so far from it. But yeah, no, that was part of your crime. Sorry. You're not getting that either. And you're not eating because you're not a god. You're a god, so you don't need to eat. Saves a lot. And just side note, did you hear some of these things? Actually, I think it was Becky who was telling us about the prisons. You should let us know what they're eating because CW, you know who that is. I don't want to say this in here because I'm going to be flagged. I heard what he gets for meals. It's a man's like glory menu. It's like pizza, hot dogs, tacos, milk, cereal, buns. What else was there? I was like, this is like pub food. Like 90% of men are gonna be like, heck yeah, that's a great menu. Taco Tuesday. No one's going to protect them in prison. Their child killer's not going to happen. Well, I hope not. Does that mean they don't have any better charges for Lori? Why are they risking that she could get on bail? I think more charges are coming. I'm believing that. I'm putting it out there that I think more charges are going to come. I think they're gathering their information. I think maybe that's why Rob Wood's like, yeah, okay, but wait, because next week it's going to be slapped with a whole lot more. So go ahead, lower this bond because there's going to be a lot more coming, and just put up there. Just put that up there. Kresha says we need to compile a playlist for real. It's the final countdown. Oh, right. And you and I were talking the other day on the live stream about the Cranberries song. So we will compile a list and oh, I can't play it on the channel. That would suck. But we doesn't mean we can't post it. I can post the list and everybody at home. There's going to be victory in this tragedy, though. There will be victory. There's no way these guys can get away with it. There's no way. And yeah, I'm going to keep going on it, right? $144,000 months in prison. There you go. Yeah, I just saw that her bond was lowered for her misdemeanor offenses. Yes, it was to $150,000, $50,000 per charge. But she still has $1 million bond on the other so if she is a great prisoner, I guess that means she didn't get upset when Chad was arrested as claimed. I heard that chatter. I mean, who's reporting on that, right? I don't know. Who saw that? I know they can make Chad read his own books over and over and over and over and over again. And Lori, from what I understand, they're not very good, not very well written. I didn't read it. I haven't read them. Yeah, I agree. Kiki says, after listening and learning more about Lori, she seemed like a nut before she met Chad. So they were a match made in heaven with those two. Yeah, I think there's a lot of manipulations, and it just shows. I mean, even all these court documents that you read, there's tons of court documents, and it just starts over and like it just goes over and over and over, showing manipulation and lying and have I tried to face-to-face call with Lori? There's no way she would with me. There's no way. There's no way, in my opinion. There's Amanda's list. Deanna says, food is horrible in prison, dated a prison guard. Oh, well. Yeah, I agree. I hope she can't find a bondsman. I don't think there's going to be, there was already an interview a while ago, and one of them said, yeah, you're going to be hard pressed trying to find one. Yes. Did someone say Melanie is pregnant? Melanie Pulowski is pregnant. If the calculations are correct and she was pregnant right away, because we found out early on, Nate Eaton talked about her being pregnant. And that was, I feel like he reported that, I don't know, January or February or something. But if she got pregnant right away in November when she started dating Ian and then got married 10 days later, then her due date, and I calculated it, approximately could be beginning of August, which is darn close to next week. So I don't know, because I don't even know how many months she was, but I was just saying, oh, if she met him right away, 10 days they got married, and then, they got pregnant, then. Please share the link to become a member, please, and thank you. For you. Ken says the only way inmates eat well is commissary. Oh, her child is due in September. Do you happen to know the date? I mean, how do you know that? Did she mention that? I'm curious. Due date is September 23rd. Oh, as per Chad? Yeah, I bet. Yes, correct. That's right. She looked pregnant when she attended her February 27th hearing with Ian, Summer, and Zulema. Yeah. Rumor and speculation on that. Okay. About pregnancy or about the date is what you're saying? I just know Nate Eaton said she was pregnant. I'm concerned, though, about that, and I'm wondering if it was intentional. Oh, okay. That's all I can say about her due date. Okay. Thank you for that. Let's see. What can I say or ask? I'm thinking of some questions. What, do you guys have any other questions? Do I think others are involved? Yes. Court time today already happened. It was at 10:30 a.m. this morning. Lori had her bond reduced to $150,000. It was $50,000 for each charge. Here you go, Kresha. It's a crime and a shame at gmail.com. I'll put that in there. So it's a crime and a shame at gmail.com. Yes, they did. Didn't they drop the felony charges? Yes, they did. And then Rob added these other ones, and then here we are. Any news on Mel P's private family hearing just gone on July 1st? I've been looking. I haven't seen anything yet. Here's how you come up. People are asking how to become a member of my crime ring. I'll put the link in here. You can just click on there and it'll show you the different options, and it'll even show you a video so you can see there's 4 tiers. There you go. Andrea says 1 foot in the grave is 4th grade level reading. So what I heard, it was, not that great. Have you read all of them yet, Andrea? Nothing, no news yet on Tammy's autopsy. We haven't heard anything. Again, I hope it's soon, but Missy says Chad's book reminds me of Mormon teenage writing. I feel like a lot is going to happen with charges and more people. It's just a mess to go through all of it. There's so many, and there's so many parts to it. So I'm sure they want to be super diligent to slap some new charges on her. I hope so. I hope so. Yes, Christina. They reduced her bond to $150,000, $50,000 per each charge. My JJ probably read all his books, and maybe when Lori said he knocked a photo of Jesus from the fridge, she could have been referring to her Mormon Manson's photo. Just kidding, but who knows with this broad. I want to know about more about that morning, because David Warwick was saying, he wanted to talk to JJ, and then Lori said he knocked a picture of Jesus off the fridge, and David's like, no, didn't even look like anything was even moved or whatever. I wonder if there was any door camera footage of that. However, I know there's attached garages to that too, so I don't know. Which one will break first and confess? I don't think either of them will. I'm trying to figure out if they have this big plan to get her out on bail, then publicly arrest her for the murders. Well, I think she's going to be, from the sounds of it, she's going to be stuck there for a while. I'm just hoping, sooner than later that they'll come and slap her with these. I just wish they would just do it. Greg says, I think that Chad will roll on Lori. He does not look like the one that will fare well in prison. Who said that? I think again it was Nate Eaton that it was reported he quietly reads in jail his Bible. Maybe he should have read it a year ago or longer. Yes, I'm covering that. Missy, she says, I'm wondering about Charles Vallow's murder and the attempted murder of Brandon. I am diving into Charles, and I've done some videos on Brandon. If you would like to take a look on my channel, they're there. I have 58 or 59 videos on Lori Vallow Daybell. Some of them are live streams, but for the most part, they are videos, and I do dive into timelines. Yep. Lori still has a $1 million bond in another county, so this reduction doesn't make a difference. That's what the judge was saying. She says, she's reviewing this, and she says she's reviewing the factors about and lowering this bond, and she says she can't overlook the nature of the charge, but also the aggravating factors. And she did say that, what else did she say? She says, and there is another $1 million bond in the other counties, so the conspiracy case. So, but still, nobody wants that to be lowered. Marianne says, I still think he was drugged the night before in preparation for what happened later, and he was when Alex was carrying him. That's when David Warwick said it was a tender moment that he was carrying JJ when he came back to Lori's. So I wonder him coming back, and then, by morning he was gone. Let me see. Words of Mel G. When prophecies don't pan out, it was because of their station in life changed. There will always be an answer for failed prophecy. Oh, yes, they said because it was agency, right? Agency. Lori's going to have a rude awakening on July 23rd. Someone's asking again, how did they become a member? I will give you the link. I can't believe this Daybell case isn't all over TV right now. Must be the COVID thing that's got everybody so busy. Oh, we've seen it on a few specials and court TV and YouTubers. Yeah, this bothers me. I 100% agree. Think about it. While Chad was free, he attended Lori's hearing knowing these children were buried in his backyard. Disgusting. 100% agree. And when you start to think back, that when Nate Eaton was interviewing Lori and Chad in Hawaii saying, "Where are the kids? Where are the kids?" She and Chad already knew, right? Because that would have been in January. Kids died in September. She very well knew where they were. And while he's asking, the only thing she opened her trap about is when, people are praying for them. That's great. Oh, that's what you have to say, he says. That's what you have to say. That's great. Where are your children? I know where my children are at all times. This is what he was saying. She already knew. And then they get married with their stupid ukulele and their hula dancing and still smiling. And they go to court. Lori's in court. Chad's sitting in the courtroom. And they look like they have a little eye exchange at one point. And he knows. He was even interviewed by somebody. He's like, all I know is the kids were safe. And I said this from the beginning because they're like, he said the kids were safe. I was like, no, he didn't. He said the kids are safe, meaning his kids are safe. He didn't say Lori's kids. Yeah, right? Exactly. Your kids are dead and no comment. Exactly, right? Had they not killed the kids, they would have gotten away with Charles and Tammy's murders. Well, I think had Kay not made that phone call, which was so pivotal, so important, had she not made that phone call, all this would have been prolonged and maybe not even happen for a long time. However, if they would just listen to Charles in the first place and listen to his pleas for help, and instead of ignoring him 7 billion times, then it could have been a different outcome. And I wish I said this before. I wish Charles would have said, hey, Lori, don't even try anything because he ain't getting a cent. Karen says, I seem to be the only Atlantic Canadian that knows anything about this case. I share on Facebook and Twitter all the time. My brother told me I need happier things to post. I'm sure there's other Canadians, but yeah, you're out east. Yeah. Perfect example, my uncle with JJ at all times. I don't know if somebody else said that, but yeah. Man, he took care he took care of him. He was trying to protect him. He was doing everything he was told. You know what? The lawyer said, Taylor Larson said, here, go do this protection order. Charles said, if something happens to me, look at Alex and Lori. And then he has the email and he sees that they're up to something. He says it to Adam, and then he confronts Lori, and Lori automatically blames Brandon Boudreau, Adam Cox, and Charles Vallow. And I'd be curious to find out if there was an attempt on Adam, or if something else happened with Adam, because we certainly know about Brandon. We certainly know about Charles Vallow. What the heck did she also do? Because she was blaming Adam about a bunch of things. Maybe there was something else with Adam that she tried some shenanigans with as well. Yes, you're correct. Jessica says, did I hear that Chandler PD reopened Charles' case? Chandler PD has a new detective. That's correct. Yeah, sometimes people get Adam mixed up with Alex. But I'm sure Adam doesn't want that. Which video did you decode the email? I'll show you that. It is what did I call it? Tale of. Hang on, I'll get the link for you. It's just easier. Tale of Two Meanings, I feel like I put it as. Or maybe, hang on. Lori Vallow Daybell's fake email, A Tale of Two Meanings with a question mark. And let me just grab that for you. When you see it now, it'll be a little bit different because we have new information. It's right there. And maybe what I'll do is I'll show that for a minute there. Belladonna says guards need to dress like zombies and break out into Thriller flash dance on the 22nd. I love that. I think, Kresha, you're going to love that too. Thriller. The flash mob dance, right? I hope they feel like such idiots that day. Who's confused? Me? Don't think so. There's Alex and Adam. There's two brothers, one brother left. Is Adam Cox? Yes, Adam Cox is a brother to Lori and Alex. There's Lori, Alex, Adam, Summer. Chad's writing is keep it simple, stupid, so he can draw in the week. You made it now. Yes, but that should be their punishment until they die in prison. Thriller song and video playing over and over and over again until they die. Without food. Because they're gods, so they don't need food. So let's show me your God then. No food. And this. Hawaii, Idaho, and Barefoot Moon Gardener has asked a question several times and super chatted one to get it answered. It did not pop up. It did not pop up on my, whatchamacallit. I think because there's 3,300 people in here, sometimes it doesn't. It usually in this new software that I'm using, it's supposed to pop up at the top and then I have to scroll and find it. So if you do have your question, please feel free to say it again and then do it all in caps so it'll pop up out to me and maybe I can find it then. I'm sorry if I missed it. It's not personal. It's just sometimes these just go crazy and I'm trying to find all the comments. You all are being too hard on poor Lori. She can't even get her nails done anymore. Or the extension, apparently extensions. Yeah, I'm seeing people talking about Shyla Thomas. That's the girl who was missing from Montana. She actually was deemed safe and found. I'm going to confirm that with Kevin Thomas, who's her father. But I did feel like a little bit before that this has a little bit of hints of Madison Bell to it. This is Hillary makes a great point. Maybe if the police had investigated Charles' death more thoroughly, the kids would not have died. That's how I feel. It wasn't self-defense. And he certainly didn't get hit with the bat. He's like dabbing, and in the police cam, it was like a little boo-boo. How do they not smell that this is all wrong? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, now it looks like it's repeating some of these things here. And if my moderator's in here, if you do see that comment that I missed, can you also repeat it so that it can come up a few times and I can see it? Please and thank you. Are Lori and Chad actually legally married and they allowed to communicate with each other while in jail? They're not allowed to communicate with each other while in jail. And I don't know 100% if they are legally married or not. There's chatter that Lori did not file the registration for them to be legally married. However, I don't know that answer. If somebody can find that answer out or knows the answer with proof, then you can email me at it'sacrimeandashame@gmail.com. Suzanne says, I can't wait till the trial and see all the evidence. Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff in the reports. Oh, you guys are awesome for repeating that. Thank you so much. Thank you. And sorry about that Hawaii, Idaho, and Barefoot Moon Gardener. I didn't mean to ignore you at all. I just somehow it didn't pop up on there, so I'm really sorry. Yeah, Brandon, Adam, and Charles were all on Lori's to-do list. Unfortunately, Charles died. I want to know more a little bit, I think, about Adam too, on if anything happened or if there's some weird conversation. Richard says, oh, hey, new subscriber. Welcome aboard. Yep, I agree. They fell through so many cracks over and over and over. And I mean, how much more proof can we see, right? The body cams of that July 11th when Charles died, before when he was asking for help over and over. I mean, how much more can you ask? And he says, please, just tell me what I need to do. You have lawyers saying the same thing, like this was not self-defense. People needing a recap. This morning, Lori was in the courtroom. She had her bond reduced on her misdemeanors to $150,000, $50,000 per charge. She still has the $1 million bond as well in the other conspiracy case. And what else? The judge added an additional, oh my gosh, I've been saying this how many times now, I forget what the word is. An additional condition that she has no contact whatsoever with alleged co-conspirators. It was only $2, but because the amount was so low, it put it at the very bottom. No, I think it just might have just got missed on that, or maybe I was talking and I missed it. So I'm so sorry, but thank you so much for the super chat. Usually it does go in weird orders sometimes, but this new software that I have, I've only used it, I guess maybe in the last month, so a few times, and it goes across, but I must have missed it, so I'm super sorry. Adam is Lori's brother. He's the living brother, Adam Cox. Yeah, that's true. Charles said on the cop cam that Lori had a rifle. That's true. That was when he was standing outside their house. And the police officer says, does she know how to use it? I don't know how much Adam's actually spoken about this, but I know his son Zach has, and he's saying Melanie Pulowski knows. He's like, she knows where the kids are. She's been part of it. So Melissa, what are y'all doing with your last 5 days on Earth before Doomsday? P.S. Linda, you're amazing and so dedicated. Thank you. Last 5 days. I think I might be going to a dinosaur museum. Maybe, we'll see. We still have rules here. There's still distancing and you have to pre-plan to go. But there's a place called Drumheller and they have dinosaur museum there. So I might go there. And in 5 days or within 5 days, I'm hoping to celebrate 100,000 subscribers on the channel because our family is growing. And you guys are super awesome. Good question. Why hasn't Lori been charged with receiving checks after children's death? We need to have Scott Reich on here and ask him a bunch of questions. Forbidden Phoenix says, Linda, I emailed you. I sent you some info on a fresh new case. If you could take a look at it about Hayes guy in Tazewell, Virginia. Is that VA, Virginia? That went missing, body been officially identified with the girlfriend on the run. I will check it out. Thank you for emailing me. I do too. I hope Lori's neighbor doorbell cam caught footage of the day the kids returned from Yellowstone and the activity that evening of Alex. I hope so too, but I think from because they're across from each other. I wonder if that one would even pick up because that might be way too far. Because imagine that it would ding all the time or start all the time. So I don't know. Unless there's some neighbors beside, I'm hoping. So close to 100K. Thank you. Ah, there we go. Jason Mal's friends were the cops on Charles's call. I'd like to figure that out a little bit more. Yes. Listen, Linda, listen. Linda, listen, honey. Did you hear them say in court today there would be more discovery come out soon? Yes, he said there's a lot more information coming. He said, yeah, discoveries. He's going to have the discovery in the next few days. It's large in size, more information. He says, he kept saying over and over, and this case is different. This case is different, he would say. But he did say there's a large amount of information and data. Oh, there we go. Norma's going to order food delivery during my last 5 days. That'd be good. Yes, 2 of Melanie's Pulowski's children were listed as zombies, correct. Yep, I agree. Lori should be charged for ripping off the government over them. Yeah, she's cashing in on people who are deceased on their checks and getting the money. I mean, where's the fraud charges on that? I don't know. Hello from Italy. Hello. Okay, I'm seeing some things. How do I keep up? Good question. We're gonna go a little bit longer on here, and then Mama needs to go get some food in me because my stomach is growling. Mystery Buff says cult leaders seem to conveniently receive new prophecy when one of their old ones doesn't come true. I have no doubt that Chad will do the same. So true. I was reading some things on the religion yesterday, and it was dated like 2013. And they were talking about how their father was prepping so much for the end of days and put himself in so much debt. And then like now I'm like, ooh, it's 2020. Like that was 7 years ago. So and they change it like, no, that wasn't the day. This is actually the day. Ah, nice to see you too, Mortgage Gal. I haven't seen you in a while. Nice to see you. Or feels like a while anyway. Um, yeah, the discovery. That's like hundreds. I mean, might even be thousands. I think last we heard was like 1900, and that was a while ago. That was before the children were even found. I think, if that's the right. Matt Man says, on body cam, Alex said he didn't live with Lori, but then he said he went to his room. How do you have a room in a place when you didn't live there? Yeah, he was staying there, right? He might have just said his room. And then he said, we were planning on doing something fun today, this afternoon. We were planning on going out and doing something fun. Oh, all of a sudden you have a pool party. Oh, this is nice. Lynn says, God bless Kresha and your family. You and your family will always be in my prayers. Hurts to see how hard Charles tried to protect JJ, and you can just tell he loves him with everything he has, as well as Kay and Larry. Totally agree. Jeep Girl Jody says, Linda, did you see the news about Letitia? Depends what the news actually is, because I've heard a lot of different things, and it depends on what your news is. And Moonmaid says, hit that like button. There's my stomach rumbling. It makes so much noises. Why is it always when I'm on camera it makes noises? Thanks so much, Brandy. Yes. Jessica says, has anyone seen all the new divorce documents on Lori and Charles? My God, I feel so bad for the life of all these children and growing up. Well, there's a lot of documents to go through. And a lot of times in certain documents, there's some untruths in there. And we have to show the pattern of these people, meaning Lori, in my opinion. Yes. Will I be doing a live stream for July 22nd? Yes. And I will let you know when it will be, and I'll do it in a couple of days in advance so you guys know the exact time. Richard says, I have a dinner on the 24th with an old friend. Somebody else said they had their home inspection that day. I would be interested to see a list of guns registered to Chad to see which ones look like they could be confused with paintball guns. Very interesting comment. Kitty to you says, I don't think Lori's lawyer has a clue what he's doing. I love seeing Scott Reich. Well, I need to see more of his videos. Yesterday I went on there because I wanted to see what he thought about the affirmative defenses. And he was like, what did he call them? Somewhat confused. I love that. Because he's more of a civil attorney rather than a criminal, he says. Michelle says, it's so telling to me that she still wants to be referred to as Mrs. Daybell, speaks volumes. You see when the last time she was on Zoom and you could see Colby and Kelsey on the cam. And as soon as she said that, like, I think Colby's eyes wanted to flick outside of his head because he's just like, you gotta be kidding me. Make sure that's right, though. Wouldn't that be fun if the investigators called you in on the case at the thinking table? Well, that would be fun. When you start diving into a case and you see all these little things and patterns and whatnot, it's just like you start really getting to know who's who at the zoo, for the most part, anyways. Uh, Ray Hope says, all of my love and support to Kresha and Colby's family. What is the best way to support them? Good question. If Kresha is still in here, she could answer that. We have, I know we have almost 99,000 people standing behind her and the family, for sure. Yes, Lori won't get out. She still has another $1 million bail and no bondsman will post. That's right. Yay, finally alive. Yay. I've been going for 2 hours. I'm going to be going and eating pretty quick. The last name. Okay, let's see. Scrolling here, you guys. You guys have been great joining me today on a Friday with the news that Lori's bond has been reduced. It would be appropriately ironic if you hit 144,000 subscribers on July 20th. That's what we were talking about. That's a lot, though, is until Wednesday. A lot would have to happen for me to hit 144,000. But Mr. Linda pointed out to me, he's like, if everybody grabbed a friend, we would more than hit it. If everybody grabbed a friend. I was like, you make a good point. So all of you in here, there's currently 2,800. If you all grabbed a friend, we'd have 5,600. Right? And if they grabbed a friend, we did 144 before Wednesday. That is quite the feat, but you never know. Thank you so much, Kathy. I don't see a question with that, though, so you're welcome to do a question there. That would be epic. The bond was lowered to $150,000, $50,000 for each charge. Yeah, could you imagine? She won't make it long out of jail. She'll be a danger to herself and do it in the name of Chad. Do you imagine if she did get out? Where's she gonna go? Honestly. she can't go anywhere because she has conditions and she has an ankle monitor. Where are you gonna go? The grocery store? What do you think is gonna happen then? Like, uh, she's probably one of the most hated people on earth at this moment. And like, maybe you should just stay in there for numerous reasons. Rose has faith. The reason why we said 144 by Wednesday is so that Lori's not leading the 144. Yeah, don't send her to Canada. We don't want her here. Do I know if Chad or Lori are aware of your channel? I would be curious to hear them say, oh no, she's on to us. I know Letitia was. I don't know if Chad or Lori was. There's a couple people that made some comments that make me wonder. I don't know about Lori. I certainly, if she did know about me, I certainly think she would not answer my phone call if I were to do one or sit in front of her. Like, there's no way. I don't know. That's a good question. Letitia, for sure. I'm pretty confident that she knew. I don't know about Chad or Lori, but good questions. You guys think that they know about my channel? I guess Lori would have been locked up right away. So I don't think maybe she would know as much, but maybe Chad. Maybe Chad was just, because he acts nervous or whatnot and he's scouring. So quite possibly Chad has, but a little off topic, but have you ever thought about doing a video on the Alyssa Turney case? Her sister Sarah is still fighting for justice. I will write that down. Where did I put my pen, you guys? Okay, I'm going to screenshot that because I don't see my pen. Oh, where'd it go? There we go. Screenshotted. Okay. All right. Shelby, so if she bails out of this, will she go to the same jail as Chad? So no letters either, right? No contact. Any news on Letitia? No, I don't know. You have so many questions, girl. Nice to see you again. No, they cannot speak to each other. No contact. I don't know if she's gonna bond out. I mean, even the lawyer said she doesn't have a whole lot of money, although, I mean, there's still Chad. I don't know. Will she go to the same jail as Chad? Not that I know of. Could be wrong. Not sure. Any news on Letitia? Letitia's supposed to have a court hearing this morning. Weird thing is, on one site it said, that she does have it, and then on one site it said she didn't, and that was at 9 o'clock this morning. I don't know. I will definitely update you about what happened. And then I was watching this court case, and then I'm on here. So yeah, they are currently in different jails. So yes, I agree. That's what I said too. Judge said they can't communicate with co-conspirators, plural. All right, you guys. I'm getting really hungry at this point. So I'm going to have to go before I pass out on camera. That would not be good. No bueno. All right, you guys. I got to get going. I'm very much enjoying our hangouts today, but and bringing you the update. I am going to go and eat, but I'm also going to dive into a video that I was snooping around yesterday, and I went down the rabbit hole, and I've been thinking about it all night pretty much, and waking up in the middle of the night and thinking about it. So I need to bring it up into your bring it out to your attention. And it's regarding Chad and Lori, and it's definitely needed, especially before Wednesday, which is an important date for them. So let's get that out there. You'll either have it today or the worst tomorrow, because there's a little bit more diving and making sure things match up and back it up, because you know how I like to back it up with facts. So we'll do that. So thank you so much for joining me. Have a really great weekend. Have a really great day. Do something nice for yourself, and just have some fun. And thanks to the moderators, and thank you so much for the awesome chat. So I will chat with you soon, and I will be sure to update you with all the other cases as well. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon, everybody. Bye.